Hi everybody, welcome. So as you can see, we are currently looking at the thumbnail I just made, but actually we want to be looking at VS Code. Now I've said some unkind things about this program in the past, and I stand by them. It is annoyingly slow to compile code with. But we are not compiling code today. In fact, well, I guess I could compile it, but I won't be able to run this on my computer because this is Linux only, and also it's from 1990 something. So, French.h. Um, okay, we've already found something interesting, and I didn't even try it. So yeah, we're reading the source code. So this is French.h. As you can see, it's defined got backpack. Okay, got backpack, and it's I can't read French. I wait, actually, question: are these missing the diacritics? I feel like there should be like little hats and stuff that French has. Let me just search that real quick because that's already interesting. Um, okay, I don't need any of this. And I know we are going to need the web browser for a couple things here. I was reading a different source file before stream just to see if everything worked, and there's some stuff that isn't obvious just from reading the code. So I've been working through. I've already read Game Engine Black Book, Wolfenstein 3D by Fabian Sanglard already. I've been working through Game Engine Black Book Doom, so I have a little bit of context for what all this code is, but some stuff is going to be non-obvious to me, some stuff is going to be non-obvious to everyone. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was pasting this. Let's just try. Should just like autocorrect. No, I want detect language. Switch. Yeah, okay. So it is supposed to have diacritics, and it doesn't. Cool. That's what I wanted to know. Why? Because they would have been using ASCII. Um, yeah, and ASCII has. Oh, okay, that's extended ASCII. Okay, so if they were using just the regular ASCII, then they wouldn't have a grave accent. Right, we got some. Here we go. Okay, so here's all the diacritic letters. So I guess they weren't using extended ASCII. Okay. No, no, no. Okay. Okay, let's try. Okay. None of that is helpful. Anyway, so yeah, we found our first interesting thing, which is that they've basically got. Wait, how does this even work? Define dfrench. Can I search for? French.h, dstrings.h. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, and this only has French and English, so there's only two languages supported. Okay, so this gets into a little bit of the history of this specific code base. So basically, they liked open sourcing things, so they open source stuff. But they also, I think, before the open sourcing happened, they gave all their source code to a guy who was going to make a book about it. Um, and then that project fell through. And then the source that wound up being released was based on the cleaned up source code for that book that never happened. Um, and so we're looking at Linux source code here because the all of the other versions had some problem that made it so that it wasn't good code to study. So the original game was released for DOS, but they also wrote it on the Next Station, so it was sort of compatible with the Next Station, but they didn't finish the sound. And then at some point they ported it to Linux, and I think there was some like there was a couple other versions, and then the console versions were all like their weird own thing that barely had any relationship with the original source code. Um, like I know that there's a version for the Super Nintendo that was basically built without knowledge of the source code, and then they used an accelerator chip in the Super Nintendo cartridge to like make it actually run fast enough. So we've noted. So yeah. So if def French. Wait, does that mean you have to? Because that's a compiler flag, right? If def is a compiler flag, right? Okay, let's not edit the text. There we go. Okay. Okay, it's a preprocessor. So you'd have to like choose your language and then restart the program, right? Is that how that works? Um, just realized I didn't put anything on Blue Sky about this stream, so we're gonna. Eh. No, Blue Sky can figure it out. I want to keep. Okay, so yeah, these are all preprocessor directives, which wait actually if yeah if okay so yeah these are all preprocessor directives. So Doom strings by language. You, hey, hi, you too. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Um, the reason that I was confused by that is because how do you get like okay, so one of two things has to happen here. Well, actually, no, only one thing, right? The only way that this makes sense is if you compile it twice, once for English and once for French, and you like pass in during compilation like which language you want it compiled in, which is like a terrible way to support multiple languages. And this game only supports two languages as well. Like it's just did the original author of the book that I was referencing like speak French? And that's why it, like it's um okay, let's look at this other files too. Okay, let's pointed strings for translation. Uh what does this do? Oh, printed strings for translation. Wait, is this what? Okay, so this is a header file. So this is helping it do compilation stuff. Um, okay, so we got Doom data. Okay, so pointed strings for translation. That's or printed strings for translation. But this is also okay. So English is so there's no native language, I guess. They're just everything is like a translation version. Like it's not patching out the English and patching in the um French. It's just I guess it defaults to English, but it's always doing this sort of translation thing. which is interesting because all you'd need to do. Wait, what's this? Okay, wait, actually, this is like a message. What am I looking at here? Okay, so these are all comments. So let's see. More Whatcom remains remove cut stuff that handled, which is not applicable in Linux. Okay, so okay, so these are changelog comments. Um, more Whatcom remains removed. Okay, so I know that they use the Whatcom compiler on both their next stations and their Doom. Wait, actually, I forget if they compiled it on the next stations or on their on the DOS boxes, but interesting. And so I guess there's some stuff that they were that like was specific to Whatcom that they were trying to use to compile it better. Um, translation. Yep, and then right here, here's some changelog stuff. So 1997 was. I don't know what this means. Was it like creation time or? Okay. Anyway. So yeah, French.h. We can I don't know any French at all. Vulnerability. Wait. I bet this sounds fun. Let's come on, Google Translate. Here, pronounce this for me. Make sure we get the no.
INVULNERABILITE. Invulnérabilité. Invulnérabilité.
Invulnerability.
Invulnérabilité.
I'm actually yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah, I'll play it again.
Invulnérabilité.
Invulnerability. Yeah. And I assume that's like standard Paris French. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting that. So we're gonna have to. I'm sort of having to do some reverse engineering even for this really simple translation thing. What is there's no English.h, is there? Oh no, here's English.h. Okay. Oh, everything is in all caps for French, but not English. Okay, and then it's all key card and vulnerability, right? So it's the same. Okay, so it's all the same stuff. Yeah, like given that all you need to do is find someone who speaks the language to translate. Okay, well, what about 700 strings, most of which are pretty straightforward. Like, I don't speak any Spanish, for example, or I don't speak fluent Spanish, for example. But if I had a dictionary and a couple of afternoons, I could do this myself, right? Like I can, and maybe there's some other weird stuff like character limits or whatever. But yeah, it's really interesting to me that they had this whole translation system that could have been used for as many languages as they'd wanted, and they used it for two. And that's probably because and like I don't like they would have had to rewrite stuff because I would have like if I was in 1993, I was like I probably wouldn't have worried that much about translation, and so I probably would have just put everything in double quotes in the code itself. Especially since this is like these defines are hard to read, right? But actually, let's see if I can find this, right? So that should be HUD. Okay, HU is short for HUD. Map names. Okay, so it is. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm curious about translation. See if the let's see if Game Engine Black Book has anything on that. I keep bringing up the wrong browser tab. What am I doing? Here we go. Fabintegler.net. My fast doom is fast. Okay, that sounds fun. Huh. Game Engine. Okay, wait. Black Book Doom. Yeah, here we go. High-res PDF is here. Great. Okay, so this is all different. Okay, color map, translation, palette translation, translation. Okay, so there's only 8 matches. So I think these are all. Okay, so the extender. Whoop, let's go back up to 2. An array of lines referencing 2 vertices. Okay, so that's translation unit. Yep. Okay. Translation units to build an internal mental map. To build a mental map with various subsystems. Okay. Okay. Translation tables to simulate 32. Okay, so that's definitely not. Translation table to match immediate instrument. Flat translation. Okay, that's not it. And then palette translation. Okay, so. Huh. So it doesn't mention translation at all, even though it would have been working from this sort. So I guess he just didn't think it was interesting or relevant. Oh, and this is interesting too. So here's E1. So the episode 2, whatever, right? And then there's a bunch of unused ones. Um, wait, how many total? Okay, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Okay, so it's not like a power 2 thing. They just huh. And map names 2. Wait, what's it doesn't have the same layout? Okay, it doesn't have the same layout here. So Plutonia WAD. Plutonia. What's Plutonia? Plutonia. It's one of the 2 official 32 level Doom YWADs to make up Final Doom. Okay. Contract. Okay, well what even is Doom 2? Oh, shut up. Doom 2 was sold in stores. Okay, so Doom 2 is just Doom, right? But it's got more stuff. Larger levels, new enemies, shotgun, power up. Okay, master levels for Doom. Okay, and they are in 32 level chunks. This one's in 32, but this would have been like the official like first party levels would have been. So I guess this is like 64. Unclear. But what? Yeah, because it only goes up to 45 for some reason. Um, I don't know if 32 is even relevant. Like, I don't know if the memory chunking makes sense. I don't know why it's why is this section th string? Huh. Then where? So it's never. Is it generated somehow? But like this one is in the code multiple places, right? Nope. Okay. But if we go back here in French.h, define. Wait, H string, HUD string. Okay, wait. Is it asymmetrical? Or not all of them define? Okay, French.h, here we go. HUD stuff.c. So E2M1, right? If we do E2M9, that should come up. Yep, okay. So if we do, wait, this is map name. This, yeah, okay. So this map name's 2. Okay. Huh. Oh, okay, I see, because it's part of a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, no, I understand that H0. I'm trying to track down um I was like I copy pasted this here. Okay, so that's okay. Oh, okay. So English.h has definitions for these, but not French.h. And then if we do TNT WADs, right? English.h has it, but not French.h. Okay, so the translation wasn't complete. I see. Okay, that makes sense. I think I took one of these later, like yeah, E4M9. Um, okay, so yeah, it's always gonna be two or three. Yeah. So what yeah, I understand that basically the way the translation is working is French.h and English.h both have definitions for all the basically all the text in the game. Um, although French.h doesn't have all of the relevant text, and it's also in all caps for some reason. So I guess wait, let's find one that exists in English but not French. So here we go. So it's all these are okay. All the HUD strings are defined, but not for the like bonus levels. So here we go. For example, this level right here, right? If I search that, so it's only defined in English.h and HUDstuff.c. And so if it's if you're not using English.h, is it just an empty string, or would it just use the English if available? I don't even know how to check. Okay, so if def, right, define the English, right? Okay. So for hmm. Yeah, I would really like to know. I'll have to ask. I don't know. There's probably a Doom Discord or something. I'll have to ask like if I compile this, it has references to levels that the French version doesn't translate. So what happens to those levels, right? Okay, so thing.h is just okay, so let's see. iVideo.c. Okay, so Emacs del select, great. Doom graphics for X11 and Unix. Are we okay, wait. Let's okay, Wikipedia. Um the X protocol has been at version 11 since 1987. Okay, so yeah, that explains why it's still on X11. Um let's see. Okay, so RCSIP. Well, this is obviously some sort of versioning thing. Bunch of includes for X11 stuff. Okay, I don't know what that means. ifdef Linux. And it'll always be ifdef Linux. Um, because the source code for other platforms isn't included in this package. Okay, doomdef.h. What are you? Okay, so doomdef.h is a very popular file. Okay, that's the changelog. Oh heck, I should be opening these in multiple tabs. Okay, so include doomdef.h. Great. So this is okay. That's what I was working on already. Great. So changelog. Okay, it's probably easier to just find it in the open the side. Okay, I don't want to open to the side. I want to. Nope. Heck. How do I go back? Nope. Okay, doomdef.h. Great. Indeterminate. Not undetermined. Indeterminate. I wonder if that's a thing. Very informed. Okay, so that is okay. He didn't just make that up. Okay. Mission path. Okay, so basically that's just what stuff is in here, right? Specify language used. Wait, German dot. Okay, but there's no German.h, so it's always going to be English. What happens if you compile an unknown? Does it just not do the language stuff? Okay, don't really understand what this is for. The sound server thing. I read in the book that there were like sounds. Um, they were trying something or other to make the sound like the higher frequency, but I yeah. Is educational but futile. I changed the scaling to 2. Drawing the status bar, etc. Decided the scale implied by the graphics. Okay. Inv aspect ratio. Define sucks. C sucks. C++ might sucks for. Oh, okay. Here's the here's so they figured out the exact width. So just screen mul times. Why calculate this? Yeah, so 320 by 200 is the original aspect ratio of the game. You can, I guess you can just like change that number and it'll go to whatever resolution you want. You could even probably do some sort of like dynamic recompiling where like while you're running the game, you have like a slider and then it just like sort of restarts itself without restarting itself. I don't fully understand how it works, but I know a lot of games will like you change the graphic settings and it sort of like screen goes black and then it comes back. Okay, ticks per second. Okay, this is super important. So basically, no matter how fast your computer is, Doom will only run at 35 units per second. Um, I th- I think that I forget if that was like for everything or just for replays. I'm willing to believe it was just everything. And so yeah, this is if you change that number, it'll. I wonder if changing this breaks things, right? So 35. The reason for 35 is that displays at the time, for reasons I don't actually understand, ran at 70 hertz, and so you need and so updating the refreshing every other frame rather than refreshing every frame because computers at the time weren't actually fast enough to saturate the 70 hertz signal if you're doing anything interesting. So that's why it's 35, not 30. Okay. Game state. Baby, easy, medium, hard, nightmare. Okay. Okay, I got the cards and the skulls. Okay. Okay. This file is not super interesting. How many seconds till expiration? Okay, so invuln, invis, infra, and iron. That's Doom. Wait, Doom Infinite. What is Doom Infinite? 1994 mod for Doom 2. What the hell? Doom Infinite is described as a single-player roguelike action FPS. Total conversion for Doom and Doom 2 requires GZ Doom, a valid Doom 2 iWAD, and some very specific customization to run. Okay. Um, cool. How do I get this running? Oh, that looks sick as hell. Okay, I'm gonna bookmark that. I gotta play this on stream. This seems fun as hell. Here's articles. Okay, well, I guess I can figure it out later. How do I install you? Cool. That did not answer my question, but I found out infratics. Yeah, infra. Okay, what is infra? Infrared. Power equals PW power infrared. Okay. Okay, so it looks like infrared was never implemented, which explains why I haven't heard of it. And iron, I guess, probably is the same. Classes, power up. Okay. Probably unimplemented. Yeah, it's a good time. Um, you can yeah, I was able to just I think it was like one line. I just opened a terminal, right? And then yep, there's a command. Just honestly, just open VS Code or whatever you got. Run this command on it's on Windows, so it'll work differently. Actually, I think that works on any platform. And then you can do what I'm doing. Files and files too, huh? Okay, so ggame.c. Okay, so one of the things I'm assuming is happening here is that the more exciting a file is, the more stuff it has to import, or I guess include. Sky handling is still in the wrong place. What does that mean? Okay, let's look at sky.h. Um, Makefile rsky.h. If def gnug. I assume that's GNU something. Primary interface and if. Okay. Okay, what's rsky.c do? Sky rendering. Doom will is a texture map like any wall wrapping around 1024. Okay. So it's a very wow, this is basically no code at all. Okay. Include mfix.each, rdata.h. Um flat Frank unit. What is Frank unit? Fine. Okay, it's used all over the place in the code. Okay. Frank. Okay, define Frank unit. What? Okay, so if def undef what? Num triangle Gaia lines. Okay, Frank unit. Why is it defined twice? What's going on here? Let's just see if I can Google it and see if that helps. Define okay with what comes okay, define with the immediate thing following it with one comes after. Yeah, because if so okay, so oh gosh, this is I don't even know. So wait, R is Milne T. What is a Milne T? M-line T? Appearances of R are replaced with Frank unit. Appearances of R on the source code. Okay, but the Frank unit also appears all over the place in the source code. Is R for radian? Why would you? I also don't know what the hell all of this is. And it's defining R using itself somehow. Could I just okay? So these are all colors. Yeah. I just don't know what Frank unit even is or does. I think it has something to do with angles, but okay. And then it but that this is a compile time thing. So and undef R. What does undef do? Used to undefine a macro. It's using okay, and using the range. Okay, so okay, let's see if I can F12 that. Can I F2 it? No. Change all occurrences, refactor. No refactoring is available. Okay. Nope. Yeah, okay. Does anyone know what this stuff is? Because I also don't know what R does. And, okay, define R. Okay, so R is 8. Okay, so 8 times player radius over 7. So an 8 by 7. Um, uh, okay, I don't know if that's it. I'm tempted to just Google this and see what happens because I don't understand this code at all. Simplify calculator, sure, whatever. Just paste that in. How is it so far? Fun, but also confusing. So right now I'm trying to figure out what the hell ammap.c does. And I'm not having a ton of luck. So these are all colors because Doom only uses 256 colors, and so you can see this is basically defining reds as this range and blues as this range and that sort of thing. Here's some control stuff, and then we get to define init scale item of 2 times frank unit, right? So here's frank unit. And everything is defined in terms of frank units. Like there's just so many of these. And I'm trying to find what a frank unit is. So here's define R frank unit. And I don't know what R is either. It is a little bit, yeah. One of the reasons I'm not intimidated is because I have let me pull it up. The Game Engine Black Book for Doom available as well. If you care about Doom, this is a fantastic book to read. There's sort of two books. There's Masters of Doom, which is about the people who made it, and then there's this book, which is more about the technology behind it. Source code release notes. Okay, I've already read that multiple times. So, what do I do? Heck. Nope. Ah. One sec. I brought. Where is my stuff? Okay, so it's not this one. It's not this one. It's not this one. It's not this one. This one's completely empty. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. Cool. What was I even trying to do? Oh, C. Okay, you don't know C. If you don't know C, then you're gonna have a bad time. Thankfully, C is a very easy language comparatively. Not because it's like easy to use or anything, but because there's just like not a ton of it. Oh yeah, here we're learning about the next station. So this is the computer that was, well, this is the flavor of computer that was used to develop Doom. I'm not sure if it was exactly this model. Kind of a sexy computer, honestly. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty similar. I mean, well, actually, it's more accurate to say that Java is similar to C because Java came first. Um, yeah, I find yeah, I would agree with that. Um, I find Java and C sharp to both be needlessly verbose. No, that's C plus. C doesn't have oriented programming, and to be honest, I still don't know what polymorphism is. Um, I've read the definition multiple times, and I still don't fully get it. We can try again. Polymorphism in Java. Multiple behaviors. Oh, okay. So it's just overloading. I don't know if I think C has that. You can do a bunch of weird stuff with defines and stuff, which we're currently looking at actually. Um, Frank unit, Frank unit, Frank unit. Can I just like what define Frank unit? Would that work? Oh, yeah, method over. Yeah, okay. I think I'm almost certain that C has that. Let me just um. Right, no, just calculator. Turn it to program mode. Okay, so bit shift. Right, right. So bit shift. Um, it goes left. Wait, where's my bit shift mode? Thematic shift. No, wait, that's not what I wanted. Okay, 16 bit shift. Nope. Two. No wait. How does this work? OCA exam. Okay. Good luck with that. I don't know what that is. I assume it's a Java certification. Okay. How do I bit shift? Okay. Bit shift calculator. Okay, here we go. Java 8. Okay. Sounds interesting. So if I put in 16, and then I bit shift. Why does it keep getting bigger? Okay, right. So there's nothing saved in memory. Great. So 16 bit shift, arithmetic shift, logical shift. No, I think okay. I think it wants to be a logical shift, and then we 16 to the left, one. Why are we? Oh, it's free. It's a fixed point thing. Okay, fixed point 32-bit is in 1616. I don't know why you're. Okay, so it's just the number 32. And frac is short for fraction. Okay, so right. Okay, so I remember this. So yeah, Doom used fixed point everything because actually let me get rid of this console. Um, because using real floating points wasn't fast enough. Um, and when they got their hands on floating points, well, they did this. This disaster. I still don't fully understand this code. I wish I did. But basically, it's converting the IEEE 754 float to something that pretends to be an integer, because you can do bit shifts to integers, which is equivalent to dividing by 2, sort of. And then they're doing a Newton iteration to get it back up to a. I don't fully understand this, but basically it lets you do normals really fast with this. Board Game Maker hasn't made any board games lately. Ah, tragic. Yeah, that's why I chose to use a fairly generic channel name in Make Games Play Games. I feel like that covers a broad range of things I might be doing. And honestly, we're doing neither right now, so um, yeah. What the hell is I doing? Sky.h, doomdef.h. Okay. Okay, where's um what was I working on? It's time for the board. I mean, if Board Game Maker isn't feeling it, they're not feeling it. Oh, yep, still streaming.
Are you streaming now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, if they're not feeling it, that's fine. Um, net.c. Network, okay. Great. Okay, game.h. Wait, I want game.c. Okay. Ooh, look how big this one is. Description, none. And as you can see, it's including all manner of things. Um, here's all the okay. So here are all the description. Okay, so these are the function definitions of everything here. Oh, and we got Boolean, which for some reason I'm not getting syntax highlighting because I guess it's not part of standard C. You have to import stuff to make that happen. Um, we've also got the byte, which is again not part of standard C. They had to import something or other to make that happen. Um, int. Why is it an integer? Why are they not just booleans? I guess key. Okay, so key right, key left. So I guess it's an integer for the key on the keyboard that would. Okay, let's see. Okay, key underscore right. Okay, so it doesn't actually. I guess there's some other file that like defines that. Um. Okay, so we're fire strafe used move. Joy B move speed. Well, Joy B is I guess Joy bus. This is probably joystick, right? Let's see. Slow turn, accelerator turning. If these values are used, most values are used once. joystick values are repeated. Okay. Body cue size. Stat for statistics driver. What, like how many kills you got and stuff? Command checksum. Okay, I don't know what this does. Does anyone understand this line of code? It's either point. I think I can't tell if it's a pointer or a dereference operation here. Okay, so build tick command. Okay. Converting to int pointer, then using it as an array. Okay, and it says okay, so it's making a checksum here. So I guess what it would do is it's taking the. Okay, well I guess there's a specific order you need to do all of this. But if you start recording a demo, I assume that's where this is called. It like when you start a demo, it also starts a checksum. You get the type of command. Okay, get the type of command. Well, I don't care what the type. Okay, well we can do that. I'll do that. I don't care about the type of command right now, but we can. Um. Okay, these are just. Hmm. Tick command T. Get packets. Control. Okay. Control click. That is not doing what I want it to. Show definition hover preview. Okay. That doesn't appear to be working. I also tried F12, which also didn't do anything. I wish I could just go to. Okay. Empty CMD. Okay. It sounds like it's got to be similar to a size T, I guess. Okay, it's included in the struct. Is this maybe it? Anyway, we're just gonna ignore that for now. Wait, heck. Nope. Wait, I was okay. I was looking at DoomDef. Where's wait? That's DoomDef.h. I want DoomDef.c. Wait, heck. What was I working on? Huh. Here's head stuff, dstrings, DoomDef. No, doomstat. Tick, think. I think I was doing on. No, I was working on game.c, wasn't I? Here we go. And here's tick command underscore p. Um, yeah, no, control clicking isn't doing anything. Also, we've got a couple new chatters here, so if you're liking this, I'm not sure if I'll do more source code overviews like this, but I do this sort of thing pretty often. So if you're enjoying your time here, please hit subscribe. I would very much appreciate that. Anyway, let's see. Game key down is Q. Okay. So what is a command? CMD is. I mean, it's gonna be all over the code, so I don't know if I find the definition for it, but. Command send, command get. This returns a command. There you go, that's something. So build command. Okay, I don't know what command is, what the type of command is here, but we're just gonna. Why do I keep losing my? Type def to a struct. Okay. So I know what structs are. So it's okay. So wait, is command a type def to a struct, or is tick command a type def? Well, I guess tick command would be a type of command, and command is a struct. So is that basically just like a signal? I wish this was easier to navigate. I'm sure that there are better tools for this. I just don't know what they are. I was in Zarathia's Discord, and someone said, "Hey, I've heard the Doom source code is pretty good to start learning C with." I don't know if I'm learning a ton, but I'm definitely interested in how all this works. Like I've been using a lot of educational code, and the problem with educational code is that it doesn't have the rough edges of code that shows up in commercial stuff. It's like it sort of defines a space where there's no headaches to worry about. It's just like, okay, well, here's how it works in a perfect world, and then you get to actual production code, and it's just like a bunch of dead ends. Tick command. Oh, let's try that. Let's try that for another. Okay, let's try declick time. What do we got here? That did not help. Um. Okay, so something about tracking time, but that's just well, declick time would be like how long the mouse was held down. I guess we can see how it's. We can see how it's used in the file. Declick state equals mouse buttons. If declick state. So if you're down, if you're holding the if declick state declicks plus plus declicks equals 2 declicks time equals tick plus equals tick dupe kind of is greater than 20 forward double click. Okay. strafe double click? Wait, this is for forward. Is this like a mouse control type thing? I don't fully get it. Forward plus equals mousey. Send pause equals false. Okay. Yeah, tracking. Well, it's yeah, okay, but this is like strafe, right? So a strafe is like when I think of a strafing, you have to do it with the arrow keys. It doesn't make sense with doing it like mouse wise. So either this is but the it's like one variable being used multiple times. And this specifically says a click, which is like for mouse. So I guess you could call a mouse a keyboard press a click if you wanted to, but like that's wrong. Um B strafe. Okay, what does B strafe do? Strafing, strafing, strafing. Okay, let's just move on. Okay, so this is something to do with the mouse. Max peel move. If forward is greater than max peel move, max peel move being peel, I don't know what that means. Let's search that. Okay, so they're all due. Okay, so they're all define max peel move. Forward move of 1. Okay, what's forward move? Okay. Forward move. Main.c? Okay. Extern int. Char forward move. Great. So. Oh, actually, here's a useful comment, maybe. The data sampled per tick and transmitted to other peers, multiplayer. Okay. Mainly movements per tick. Check some state consistency. Do they wait? Is it all? Is it always running a checksum or just for like, or just for demos? I feel like it would be weird to always run a checksum, but I guess if you wanted to, it wouldn't cause that many problems, maybe. But also the checksum, like the checksum thing, was meant to prevent cheating, but they also really wanted the game to be modded, and so constantly running a checksum on yourself seems like if you modded the game, it would break. 2040 for move. Wait, actually, this feels like it might have been covered in the Game Engine Black Book. Um, okay, yeah, exactly. Here we go. We found one! Yay! Yeah, no, shut up. Okay, so 2048 for move. Oh, wait, there's tick command. I wasn't paying attention. There's tick command. So what this is doing is it's abstracting the input from the output. So it's saying no matter what device you use, you can have 2048. I don't know what, but you can have 2048 of them for angles, and you can have 2048 for side movements. Core calls okay once okay like the core calls the input system once per frame and once per game tick to allow it to sample devices. Enters into the core. Okay, wait. Actually, if I scroll back up a little bit, responders. Okay, so this is sort of a signal pattern. This is so funny. It's basically like check, like you send to a bunch of different things one at a time, and if they care about it, they eat it, making it not unavailable to the next one, and then if not, they pass it along. Okay, that's certainly one way to do this. I guess I never thought about like what the actual code for the signal pattern is because it's hmm circular buffer. Okay. Um. Yeah. So I've spent a lot more time on the Wolfenstein Black Book than on the Doom Black Book, and the Wolfenstein code I was more or less able to follow, even though my C is actually not very good. But I mean, Doom's a more complicated game, so yeah. I had to read like Doom and Doom Black. Both of them, I basically got to a point where I couldn't understand anymore and stopped. And do the Wolfenstein one, I was recently able to finish the book. That doesn't actually mean I understand the code or like how the game works, but I understand enough of it that I can talk about it. Whereas for Doom, I've researched it both with the book and with some other resources, and I still only sort of understand even like the high level stuff in terms of like how it draws, like how portals work and how it like because like portals have three textures and it's like how does that like and like the fake 3D thing with stairs. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand. Um. Anyway, so we got path names are sensitive. Okay. What are you? What is B-Box? Main loop stuff, random number lot. No, random. Okay. FDF Gnug. Huh. More stuff in the description than there is in the actual file. Clickbox. Cheat.c. Okay. Oh, here's our lookup table. Wait, actually, can I find the quote? Um, Nope, that's Blender. I don't want Blender. Random pitches, random feature. NS. I don't know what NS stands for. Oh, let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, his name was obviously mentioned a million times in the. Okay. Yeah. Look, the lookup table is literally just ran an existing random algorithm and then store the results. So there's no. I think 1 and 2 don't exist in this. It's just like 256 random numbers. Which one is deterministic? Okay. Um, Here we go. We can look at enemy.c. Okay, so you can only it can't. Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's partially a limitation of how they made the sprites because they basically um what they basically did was they made I think they were made mostly out of clay. All right, so you have your sprite here, and basically they put it on a turntable, and then they took, I guess it would be 8 pictures. No direction, num direction. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So and then basically just took 8 pictures of the. Well, I think you only don't even need 8. I think you basically need like 5 because you can like it's assuming it's symmetrical. You can just like mirror it. I don't know if all of the. I think some of the Doom enemies might not be symmetrical. Um. Okay. Here's the direction type opposite. So it just hard coded to flip it across. Here's the diagonals, just in case you need to reference only diagonals. Okay. It's odd that a DI, like, I guess no direction doesn't have an opposite direction. That makes sense. But they're not using numbers. But well, that would just be 9, right? Because one for each and then 9, yeah. I guess if you need numbers, then. Huh. I guess it would be because because an enum is just a list of. All right, that's C sharp. I don't want C sharp. I want C. Why did I type that? Because I want C. Oh, okay, great. So it's 0 to n. So the number of directions is going to be 8 because it's 0 to n, so it goes 0 to 8, and there's 8 things in the enum. So if you need the number 8 in that context, then I guess that works. And if you ever wanted to add a direction for some reason, then the numbers would update itself. Okay. Monsters are spawn unaware of all players, but some can be made pre-aware. Okay. Recursive sound. Wake up all monsters in this sector. Okay, sector. How is okay? So in the BSP tree. Okay, this is not giving me the diagram I want. I think a sector is one leaf of the BSP tree, which is not a specific size, and then there's like a smaller thing that's used for collision detection that is a specific size. So all the monsters in this sector, I guess that'll be all monsters in basically that you can see. Okay, so recursive sound. Okay. Sector valid count. Okay, so this is taking, so it's passing the sector, I guess the entire sector, like all of its data in, and it's also a number of sound blocks. So wait, it says it's recursive, so it calls itself here. Okay, recursive functions always confuse me at the best of times. So line count. What is line count? Okay, so sector's a pointer, so we're getting sector dot, like, so basically the line count within the sector. So for each line, sectors, lines of I, okay. Let's see, sector T. Let's see if we can find that one. Oop. Ooh, long ass comment. Okay. Notes, not mobj.t. Mobjt's are used to tell the refresh word drum image, tell this world simulation when objects are connected, and tell the sound driver how to position sound. The refresh uses the next and previous links to follow lists of things in sectors as they're being drawn. The sprite, frame, and angle elements which determine which patch T is used to draw the sprite if it is visible. The sprite and frame values are almost always set from state T structures. The state screen.exe generates the state sh and states sc files that contains the sprite and frame numbers from the state screen.txt source file. The XYZ origin point represents a point at the bottom middle of the sprite between the feet of a biped. This is the default origin point. Okay, great. A walking creature will have z equal to 4. It's standing on. Okay, that makes sense. Sound code uses XYZ in subsector field, or XY in subsector field to do stereo positioning of any set sound effect fitted? I assume that's supposed to be emitted. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to be emitted by the mobj. So the simulation uses the block lengths XYZ radius height to determine if mobjs are blocking each other, touching lines in the map, or hit by trace lines, gunshots, etc. The mob-t flags element has the various bit flags used by the simulation. Every mob-t is linked into a single sector based on its origin coordinates. Okay, I don't understand that part. So, what does it mean to be linked to a sector? Subsector T is found with R point in subsector XY, and the subsector and the sector T can be found with subsector sector. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so enum P special thing when touched. Okay, so why are they base? Why are they 1, 2, 4, 8, 16? Oh, I see. So because if it's 1, 2, 4, 8, etc. Then that's okay. So that's so that all of these can be true at once, right? Because if you have a binary number, then 1, 2, 4, 8, and then you can treat it not as a number but as a sequence of flags. And so I guess this is using a 32-bit number because this looks like more than 16. Check def enum, and then what are we actually calling it? We're calling it mobj flag T. Okay. Type def struct mobj_s thinker. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. I need to use the bathroom. So yeah, one thing we're learning here is that okay, so I guess it's important to talk about sort of the context here because a lot of this code was written by like one guy, John Carmack, and I think Doom was in development for like less than a year, and with a fairly small team. And so a lot of this was like context based. It wasn't like they weren't too concerned about what someone 5-10 years down the road we're going to look at, and they basically they needed to move fast, and they all like everyone who worked on the code understood what it did, and so a lot of these names are based on being easy to type rather than being easy to read. Which here in current year makes it a little bit difficult. I would love to know. I would love it if it was just named like mob job description or whatever. But if you were in the room while it was being coded, these all made sense to you, I'm sure. Readme.asm. What do you do? Those inner loops or texture mapping. M60. Okay, so the Intel 386 and the Motorola 68K. The Motorola 68K was what was used in the next stations, which is what everything was developed on. Readme.b. Oh, we should really read this. This looks interesting. Okay, so this is not the Doom source code dumped for a bunch of reasons. It is based on a Doom development library snapshot as of January 10th, but has been stripped and changed. Thus it is the Doom source, but there are many minor differences to the source as last used by id Software. Note that thus neither John Carmack nor Dave Taylor nor anybody else at id is responsible for the contents of this archive or the changes introduced to the original source. If there are any questions, contact me at bk.gamers. I wonder if that still works. Or preferably post on the mailing list, doomediting@gamers.org. Okay. Actually, let's see if this website still goes. Sure, control click. It's still going. Difference engine Doom pages. Okay. What does gamers.org do these days? Home of Doomgate. It's a little sad that gamers.org is like stuck in 1995 because that's such a good. Oh, this okay. Copyright 2025. I guess someone touched it in the last year. Okay. Cool. Doesn't work. Uh. See the README. Okay. Okay, so this is all like DOS stuff, which doesn't run on modern hardware. But I'm glad this website still exists and they're still doing stuff with it. Okay. What is Linux SVGA? How old is this website? SVGA lib, okay. Alongside X11, stable release 23 years ago. Preview and see. This website looks ancient. just a tarball, okay. Simple tutorial versions. Super VGA graphics. Okay, programs. There's no dates on anything here. It's hardware supported. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so SVGA is dead, basically. So no SVGA support. X11 seems more handy. They were right on that one. Sound. GL Doom. Read mode GL. Okay. We got 132. Okay, right. Doom Ed. Here we go. Doom game tools. A number of tools have not been released, namely those which compiled the things and state tables, the frame animation louds sound tables. Basically, they contain similarly complex lookup tables to generate C files. The tools are omitted from this distribution. There are some files in distribution that are essentially the output of these tools. This is the data that defines Doom as a game for all practical purposes. I recommend keeping them as they are part of the source. In the long run, handling them as well as the action/animation functions as a separate game. So, okay, you need shareware WAD to run the executable. Oh yeah, at the time, right? Because at the time, various versions of Doom would have been still sold. Not polite. Probably not polite. So just distribute a source or binary without this mechanism. Okay. I guess that's December 12th, 1997, or yeah, December 22nd, 1997. Readme.gl. Okay, I never got around to do anything with respect to a Linux GL Doom port, except for assembling a Linux 3DFX how-to, which at the time was a prerequisite to get permission to publicly distribute the already finished Linux Glide sourced by Daryl Strauss. Okay. Linux Q2 Quest and soon Linux Quake 2 demonstrate that Mesa with the Mesa Voodoo driver is quite up to the requirements for GL Doom. If anybody wants to get into Linux GL Doom, drop me a line. There is a Win32 Geo Doom in the works by Jim Dose, quoting a recent posting by him. I haven't had much time lately to really work on the conversion. I currently have the renderer drawing the walls and floors as texture spans that are... Okay, this is getting a little into the weeds. I mean, I'm sure... Okay, GeoDoom now exists, but didn't at the time. Sound drivers should be, as an asynchronous model, either a separate thread or a separate process. This is because sound should always be fed to the card without interruption, or else you get pops and low latency, or else you get angry players. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Now, it turns out this kind of code isn't too fun to write. In the days of Linux Doom, threads were not a happening thing in Linux, and in fact, they still largely aren't. You can use them these days if you have GNU's libc installed, but you still can't debug them because GDB doesn't support them yet. Okay. I believe the original separate process had a bad latency delay because of the time it took for commands to be flushed through the pipeline, through the pipe used to communicate with separate processes. I should have looked into this more thoroughly. In Quake, I discovered that I could feed multiple acknowledgements to a sound blaster compatible without any side effects such as pops or other malfunctions. This discovery led me to switch to a completely synchronous model, much easier to debug and understand, so I think this was fairly intelligent. Although we had to populate the game with calls in the right places to keep the sound buffers fed, and although it wasn't guaranteed to always be fed, well over 99% of the time it was fed, and your latency was never worse than the frequency of your refills, which is several times per frame, plus a small lead time, 40th of a second. Okay, separate sounds for codebase, introduce some redundancy. I'm still streaming. Okay, so this is like, please give me multi-threading Linux. And yeah, they're right. Multi-threading is good. When was this written? It doesn't have a date. When? This is really into... Yeah. Okay, so in the original Game Engine Black Book, Doom, basically the music was the thing that controlled the heartbeat of the entire game, because if you do it any other way, he gets the you get the pops, like you get audio desync. And actually I think it was something like, if you have, how did it work? It was, so music is sort of the heartbeat of the game, because if the music was interrupted, they couldn't go back and find where it was supposed to be in the track it was playing or whatever. And I haven't gotten through Game Engine Black Book Doom to the same extent, but I think they use a similar system in Doom where basically music is the thing that controls, like, music is the most protected part of the game. So in Wolfenstein, music gets its own little package of RAM to use, and that package is like sort of protected, so nothing else gets to use it. Whereas, like, all of the graphics data, for example, is constantly getting evicted, because they had a garbage collector built in. Like, they built a garbage collector that used linked lists and big chunks of data, and basically evicted them as they were no longer needed, based on a priority system that I assume was based on like proximity to the player. So if you're far away from something, it was thought of as less needed and that sort of thing. Getting, so on single threaded systems with no multi-threading and no OS support for like managing those processes, getting the game and the music to sync up correctly was actually a huge pain in the ass. So I'm actually not surprised he's really in the weeds, because it's like, we don't have to think about this nowadays, because first of all, we have multi-threaded CPUs, so if I'm running a game, I can have like the music on one thread and the actual game on another, and I can even like have multiple processes in the game. So if I want to use all of my threads, I can still have like a process that's sort of in there, and it's still like it gets like you check up on it in time to keep it to sort of keep music going. But on a single threaded system like the early 3D6 46 computers with a OS as primitive as DOS, and when you're really trying to push the system, like push the limits of the hardware you're working on, um, yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah, very much. Although it's worth mentioning that like as impressive as Wolfenstein and the later games were, they didn't appear out of thin air. Like this was like Wolfenstein 3D was Ed's third 3D game because they'd done Hover Tank and Catacomb 3D before that, and they'd also been doing 2D games for like several years at this point, and so they knew all these tricks. They didn't have to invent them from scratch, and they'd previously been working at a company that like had other people, right, so that it wasn't like some guy sitting in his basement just having epiphany after epiphany about how to do good programming. They had help and they had experience, and John Carmack specifically was always like hunting down um like academic papers about this stuff too. So like I'm not denying that they weren't smart. They were they were doing impressive stuff. Um, but it was they were like by the time they got to Doom, they had I think they've been working on these like games like this for the PC for like 5 years as this like very small team. Um, and so they would have just known how to do this. That said, here we go. What was it? Ancient Roman. Right. Yeah, our Ancient Roman Power of the Dark Side PS1. Okay, so here we go. Get into battle. Nope. Where's the battle? Okay, I'm trying to find it. This is a PS1 game that handled audio incredibly poorly. So first of all of the music is like the wrong instrument in the wrong octave. Um, but second of all, here, watch this. Okay, so see that lag? What that is they just decided that like every sound is 10 seconds long, and so if you have a longer sound it's like a sequence of 10-second sounds, and if you have a shorter sound it finds 10 seconds of audio off of the disc, loads into RAM, uses it, and then deletes it. And so every time a sound effect like that plays, it is doing a disk seek to find 10 seconds worth of audio for like a half second sound, using it and then freeing it from memory every single time. And that what that does is it puts this like audio stutter, yeah, audio stutter right there. And so that's what, like, this is why you have to handle audio correctly. Um, and so like it's impressive that they were able to get anything done at all. But also, if you want to make games on DOS, you need to know this stuff. You need to be like really, really deep in the weeds to get it to work, because otherwise your game just isn't playable. Like, imagine playing a game where anytime a sound effect needs to play, it just goes right every time, every single time. Um, I don't know, just it's just really funny to me. Gosh, okay. Ooh, stuff.h or stuff.c. Here we go. What does all of this do? Ammo width. Ammo. Oh, okay, okay. So what this is the UI builder, I think. Or huh. Okay, so this is the well, stuff, I guess, is anything that goes onto this ST. What's the ST header mean? Because it's not HUD. HU is HUD. ST. Okay, ST. Let's go down here. Huh. Because I remember there being like early in the book. I guess we can go. Nope. Oh, status bar. Okay, there we go. Status bar. Um, okay, so ST stuff is the status bar, and so I guess it's also wait. Let me see the. Okay, let me just Google. Is that literally just the width of plasma gun weapon? Yeah, it doesn't show you the weapon on the status bar. Huh. And it feels like the status bar shouldn't be in charge of drawing the gun. Let's check the book. Okay, status bar is all this stuff, right? Okay, great. Yep, all the hurt. Okay, so I don't know why it's defining the width for guns, because it feels like the status bar is not where the guns are. I guess it's, well, wait, oh, wait, no, this is, I'm overthinking this. Um, that's literally like that's hard-coded screen positions for the ammo types. Or wait, no, because there's only four. Mm. Okay, so my brain is starting to melt from all the source code, and I try to stream for at least 2 hours. We've passed 2 hours at this point. So thanks all for coming, and I will probably be doing more reading the Doom source code after I finish the Doom Game Engine Black Book, and maybe read some other resources as well, because I'm very much out of my depth here. To do. Let's look at to do. So yeah, what I've learned here is that, oh yeah, absolutely. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Yeah, I had fun doing it. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to learn here, and I think one of the interesting things is not even like the code itself, but like the structure of it, and how like there's a bunch of just like change law. Like, there's a bunch of just random text files that are informational. Um, like if I bring up my raylib, right? Half of these files are not actually something I'm planning to use for a game. They're just like here's my planning document. Here's two test things I have just to run like small snippets of code, so I don't have to worry about anything else working. And it almost feels like the same ideas are being put into the source code for the final thing of Doom, which is really interesting. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna hop off. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for chatting. I always love to talk with a chatter. Um, and yeah, have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks so much. Let's see, where's the button here?